and welcome to Perspectives, where we take a deep dive into the issues of the day and where we take a look at people's opinion on such issues. I am Ruth Osime.
And I am Majekodunmi-Oniru. Today's topic is female breadwinning, women who run the show at home and bring home the dough. We have special guests and a very exciting show planned, so stay tuned while we get started.
Money matters are a leading cause of friction and discomfort in relationships. And this can be more pronounced when the woman is the primary breadwinner, as traditional social gender norms suggest that men should be the breadwinners in relationships. There's a simmering resentment frequently experienced when women out-earn their male partners. It's been noted that many female breadwinners, in addition to their professional workload, also pick up the majority of domestic responsibilities to assuage their husband's feelings of emasculation. This dual role can take a toll on the woman. You see, in any relationship, when there's a significant income difference between the man and the woman, it can cause a perceived power imbalance, creating potential conflict, resentment, or frustration in one or both partners. This can lead to emotional issues, lack of communication, and ultimately even divorce. This isn't a woman's issue, it's a societal issue. And when a woman assumes the traditional male role as provider, it can be confusing because it's hard to shake off society's gender norms. In a society where traditional roles and expectations often collide with the reality of modern life, female breadwinners have emerged as silent heroines. Despite the hurdles, these women stand as symbols of strength, determination, and resilience.
Thank you, co-host. Very well spoken. Career opportunities, entrepreneurial prowess, and financial freedom are not determined by one's gender, but by one's abilities, talent, wisdom, character, knowledge, and determination, all of which should be maximized and not suppressed. A woman, mother, wife, can take on as many hats and responsibilities as a man, father, husband. As more women rise financially today, we are breaking glass ceilings to portray that women are not just emotional providers, but financial and leadership providers. Gone are the days when the responsibilities of providing for the family were solely shouldered by men. Traditional gender norms and stereotypes are being challenged daily to foster a more inclusive, equitable, and diverse world. The act of breadwinning is not gender-based. Thus, the continuous global push for all public and private institutions to dismantle systemic barriers, ensure equal pay, and foster workplaces that embrace greater inclusion. Nigeria, for instance, has never had a female president, vice president, or governor, and continues to have less than 7% female representation across all key government positions. Female breadwinning, born out of genuine passion and timely opportunities, touches the true essence of a fulfilled life and transcends notable economic success while propelling a progressive world. We would announce our special guest soon, but right now, let's proceed to watch this unique report on the roles of female breadwinners in our society today.
The traditional African family unit, the man and the woman both have their jobs clearly defined in terms of sustaining the home and keeping it a warm, friendly, and satisfying haven. While the man was expected to provide a muscle in physical and economic terms, the traditional African society generally demanded a rather subdued but nonetheless supportive lifestyle from the woman. She was considered the emotional conveyor belt of the family, having to deal with attention to details around the children, making sure they embrace a healthy existence while conforming to rules and regulations. However, everything seems to have flipped overnight with the rapid ascension of a more liberalized way of living at a global scale in the face of changing global dynamics. In this context, women have become more professionally exposed and therefore economically empowered. With economic power comes a greater hankering for equity on the political front. And the upshot is a situation whereby more women are now in employment in different climes of the world, depending on what statistics one is willing to deploy or believe. Many have argued that it's all good for balance on earth, something that now pops up everywhere as gender balance. But the bigger conversation seems to be how the economic empowerment of women has impacted to family life. What does it do to the almighty male psyche? Does your wife's ability to make more money than you make you feel less a man? What sort of resistance is this liberalized existence coming up against? In a place like Lagos, for instance, and to some extent other relatively substantial urban centers of Nigeria, where infrastructural challenges to movement continues to redefine family relationships, what does the future look like? Many family experts have tried to pin the manifest erosion of values in the upbringing of the children on the traditional breadwinner not being able to wield the same influence over the financial affairs of the family. But in all fairness, how can you blame the woman for it?
Very interesting topic today. It's quite interesting how women are increasingly becoming breadwinners in our society, and they are working multiple roles, multiple jobs to make sure that they are bringing the financial essentials the family needs. But we also need to understand that men also have always been that breadwinner. And I think some of them are advocating for sharing the platform, sharing the financial...
I don't know about sharing the platform, because a lot of women who are financially more empowered than their husbands sometimes have to even play down their true value, as in what they're really worth. Because sometimes some men, their egos can't take it. Of course, naturally, 2 + 2 make 4. If you have a woman that is pulling her weight and bringing in as much or even more than you, you should embrace it. You should be welcomed. You should appreciate the fact that at least she's pulling her weight.
Yeah.
But
don't you think that's like more of like a mental setback? Because today, with so much economic hardship, it only makes sense that they share that.
Aside from the mental setback, this thing called ego, can make your sense of, can make the way you think be clouded. Because the woman is doing it for the betterment of the family unit. You know that she's pulling her weight, but you don't want her to have a say when it comes to major decisions. Because if every man embraces a woman who is financially empowered, then we won't even be having this topic.
Yeah.
The topic of today is why the challenges women who are the breadwinners face in their marriages.
Right.
Well,
this is why there are so many divorces out there today. Some couples may not be the perfect combination. You might have just married the wrong person, but a reasonable man and a reasonable woman who both go out there and bring in the dough, bring in the cash, money has assets for the family, they can always work together. Communication is so important.
Money has caused a lot of issues in marriages. Even women who are not mercenary by nature.
Right.
Because some men, whether we like it or not, are just lazy. And because they're lazy, they don't pull their weight.
Right.
And also, some women don't let men know how much they really have, because it makes the men sit back and relax, saying that the woman will also always pick up the tabs.
Yeah, but they're also the women that they reduce their income. They don't report their exact income because they want to continue making the man provide 100% of the time.
Well, even that man providing 100%, that man providing 100%. In fact, I even find it, especially now that there's so much hardship. Put your weight.
You said that phrase before. My money is my money, but your money.
Well, there's that.
My money is our money.
But the truth of the matter is that in a union, you must be able to bring something to the table as a woman. It's not just enough to run the home, take care of the kids. Some people have the luxury of having a man that can foot the bills and wants her to just play that role. But in today's Nigeria, where you need as many hands on the table as possible, it's best for the woman to find something to do, even for her own sense of worthiness. There are some things that you don't have to ask your husband for. You should be able to afford it. And there's some things you can do for the children too, without necessarily relying on your husband.
I do advocate for the very early years. The role of a mother is too critical. You have to just dedicate those first 4, 5, 6 years to your children. Make sure they are well raised.
That's a choice.
If you can manage it, hire the very best people, sure.
That's a choice. But anyway, we're heading for a short break. But stay with us. When we return, that will be a cue to jump into the business of the day with our guests. The catalyst, Lanre Olusola, and boardroom colossus Ibukun Awosika. Perspectives return in just a moment. Welcome back to Perspectives here on Arise News.
Now on to introducing our special guest today. First is Dr. Lanre Olusola, popularly referred to as the Catalyst. He's a visionary life coach and founder of the first integrative coaching academy in West Africa and a coaching platform called Coach Me Online. He is founder of the Life Coaches Association of Nigeria and a board of trustee member of the International Coaches Federation in Nigeria. Welcome back to Perspectives, Lanre Olusola. Very glad to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed, Lanre is also being joined here by the very one and only Ibukun Awosika, who is an entrepreneur, also international leader and global cultural shaper. Ibukun is a woman of many firsts, the first chairperson of the Nigerian National Advisory Board for Impact Investing, the first female chairperson of Nigeria's Premier Bank, First Bank, and the first Nigerian recipient of the prestigious International Women Entrepreneurial Challenge Award, and also the first African recipient of the International Friendship Award 2019 by the Queen of Spain. Her recent recognitions are the 2020 Forbes Woman African Chairperson Award and Beta Gamma Sigma 2020 Business Achievement Award. She is a fellow of the African Leadership Initiative, Aspen Global Leadership Network, and a recipient of 4 honorary doctorate degrees. Many thanks to both of you, exceptional individuals, for joining us in Perspectives today. It's so good to see you, really. You must give us some of your fire. Okay, as you know, the topic is about when the woman is the primary breadwinner of any union. So I want to start with you, Ibukun. In these economic realities moving faster than social norm these days, how realistic is it in today's times to actually expect a man to foot all the bills in the household?
I think it's totally unrealistic. It's also not even a matter of now. If you go back into our cultural structure, you would find that the Nigerian woman has always been a part of the economic strength of the home. Whether she's trading at the gate of their house or she's a professional working in some way. Even if you go back to our forefathers, when the fathers farm and the women and the children support them on the farm, if you go to the market, the most active participants in the market in every community are the women, because they are the ones who then go and trade the produce. Now, to bring that to the 21st century and look at just the cost of living, no matter how comfortable the man is, there's value that is added when the woman is an active value addition to a family. That's one side. The other part to look at it constructively is life happens. Men die. Men's businesses go wrong sometimes. People lose their jobs. Life happens. When life happens, in a family where there are dual economic participants, there's greater insurance for the family in terms of what they can do. But if it's only one person who becomes a god provider of the house, if anything happens, there's a problem. Even if you're a business person and your wife is kept out of it, if something happens to you, other people will take advantage of that business because she doesn't know anything.
But there's some men who will tell you that they would rather the wife is a housewife. They don't want her to do anything that will take her away from the home for too long, especially if the children are at the formative years or maybe the children live abroad. Some people will tell you, I don't want her to have any business that, at 5 she's not at home. So that's also I've known of women who have actually given up their careers simply because the husbands didn't want them to work, although it came back to bite them in the ass years later.
Well, so it's really about the two individuals who are involved. Now, the Bible says the two is one, which means you're supposed to be working as an indivisible team with a full understanding of what your family goals are. But even in the context of the family goal, it is important to understand that we are individuals that at the end of the day, we must be fulfilled in our calling and our giftings. And if, You know, before you met the husband, you were you. You had your dreams, you had your vision, you had your ambition, you had your giftings, you had things you wanted to be. And in meeting the man who becomes your husband, which is part of the process that we haven't paid a lot of attention to, we haven't taught young girls how to choose the husbands, as we should choose young men. We haven't taught women how to first consider who they are and who they want to be in order to know if the guy they choose is the right guy for the life they want based on how they perceive they have been called. Because the topic we're discussing is a problem due to a problem. Because if you choose wrong to start with, if there's a mismatch between... Now, a man who wants a housewife has a legal right to have that. It's his right if he wants that. But he must also be married to a woman who wants to be a housewife. So in that case, it works. But the woman who wants to be something more shouldn't marry a man who wants a housewife.
So in other words, they're saying a woman should not marry a man that is less ambitious than she is. What if she sees other qualities in the man?
So it's for her to work that out.
But he's not as driven as she is.
See, at the end of the day, it's the individual's choice based on where you're going. Whatever you perceive your vision to be, the choice you make, you must own and take responsibility for. And that would, in many ways, determine, because it's also why courtship is important. You must have a sense of yourself and have a sense of who the other person is. And in that partnership that you perceive, you owe it to yourself as a woman or as a man to ensure that that partnership will work to enhance your vision, your ambition, and the wholeness of who you are.
So in other words, if you don't share the same drive, it's almost like a failure from the onset.
Well, you know, drive can be different. It's goals and ambition.
That you communicate.
You don't have to be the same, but you must have the capacity to celebrate what each person is.
Okay, that's the important part.
Yes,
they're two different of each other's
yes, you must. If your wife is driven, she's ambitious and all, and you love that ambition in her, then you're the right man for her. And if you walk at a different pace, but she understands who you are, she celebrates who you are, it means that you're able to accommodate her vision and her ambition, and she's able to celebrate your pace and the other values that you bring to the table in order to support who she is. Now, that you will always think about your resources as a family, as one. At the end, it really shouldn't matter who brings what. What should matter in a home is that your family is provided for. Sometimes when I counsel people, I say to some women, would you rather none of you have? Would you rather beg the neighbor or look for the uncle? Because frankly, it's about once there's mutual respect for one another, once there's mutual support for each other's vision and ambition, it doesn't matter who has what at what stage. And anyway, seasons change. Life happens. Yes. The wife might start out stronger. The man might just somewhere along the line find his rhythm and take over. But depending on how the woman handles the season where she's stronger,
and the man too.
And the man. So you shouldn't really be in that situation if you don't have enough wisdom and understanding. Because there's a lot of grace and wisdom that a woman requires.
I think that wisdom comes with age. You know, because like for instance now, in Lanre, I want to ask you this. I've known of situations where women, when it comes to household bills or expenses, some women actually don't declare how much they really have or what they're really worth. Some will tell you that they're not doing so because they don't want the man to get too lazy, or they're not doing it because they've tried it before and the man has not met up to his responsibilities. So what do you think is the best approach? Do you think that partners should know how much each other is really worth?
Well, you know, thank you very much for that. We're speaking about the marriage setting, right? And each marriage is unique. Each marriage is completely different. And the way that we're looking at the problem is the real problem. Now, there's certain marriages whose construct is as such that the man is the one that, at the beginning, right, is the breadwinner. It's the one that his business is doing well. It's the one that his career is doing well.
It might not necessarily be so. It might be that the woman herself too.
I want to describe different categories.
Okay.
And then You know, for a few years, that is so. And they were used to that. And all of a sudden, things turn around for him, right? And the woman is now the one that is making the money. The interesting thing is the dynamics have changed.
Yeah.
But both of them want to remain the same. It cannot work. Both of them have to realize that life evolves. We evolve. Things change. And we have to also change. That's the first thing. The second thing is there are situations where society determines for some people allow society to determine how they run their homes. Now, in that situation where the man used to be the breadwinner, I used to buy everything for the wife, and the wife has friends that are advising her wrongly. And now, when the woman is now the one that is the breadwinner, why are you taking this? Why are you allowing this? So we're talking about a lot of wisdom and a lot of grace.
On that note, she mentioned earlier how when the woman becomes the breadwinner, men have this ego that is hard to defeat.
Yes.
You think most men prefer weaker, more submissive wives? Or do you think they can genuinely be happy when the woman is the breadwinner?
You know, what I've found out from my work in the last 2 decades is that men marry their mothers. And women marry their fathers.
Okay, so upbringing has some
Yeah, we're nurtured into our nature. So, for example, my mom was the breadwinner. I lost my father when I was 2 years old. My mom took care of 6 of us, right? So it is easier for me to let my wife be.
Excel.
But men come to me and tell me I'm a weak man.
Wow.
You know? And why you allow your wife to do what she does? But if I wasn't self-assured, if I wasn't self-confident, if I wasn't brought up by a woman, I would never be who I am if my mother wasn't the breadwinner. So I acknowledge every woman that is a breadwinner. I respect every woman that is a breadwinner. I support every woman to be everything that she wants to be. Why? Because that's my nature. But not every man is like me. There's some men that they were nurtured in homes where their fathers dominated everything. They don't know any better. And so what we've got to do is we need to be empathic. We need to have an understanding of each person's dynamics. And each person needs to look back, look within, and ask themselves, what is driving this behavior? Because behavior is learned, and it can be unlearned.
We'll go on the break now because, I mean, we have quite a lot of ground to cover. So please go for your tea or coffee and see you right back in Perspectives in about a minute or two. Okay, you know, during the break, we're talking about men and women, and men who are too weak and women who are too domineering. And then Ibukun, I used to call her Billy. I've known her since we were 10.
I've known her since I was a little boy.
I've known her since we were 10. Even then, she was a tomboy. You know, this female breadwinner comes with a lot of stress, especially if you're now carrying the mantle as quote unquote the man of the house. So, do you believe income disparity in couples is less about amounts of money and more about overall fairness and equity in the relationship?
See, the problem is from something you said. If the woman is carrying the mantle of the man of the house. Now, if we allow that to happen, we have already created a problem. And I go back to the Bible, because I'm a pastor, whether we like it or not. If the two is one, it shouldn't matter where the money comes from. I said that earlier, and I'm reestablishing that. So the order of the house shouldn't be tied to the pocket. Because, you see, the risk we run when we permit that is we're saying as long as it's the man that is paying the bill in the house, he can be a bully. He can just take the role of a god. He can do whatever he likes to have because he's whoever pays the piper plays the tune. And if we say that is the rule, then we will support when the woman is the one paying the bill, that she becomes the piper and she can be a bully as well. But that's not true. Because in the cultural context or biblical context, or whether we like it or not, the structure of the world we still live in has a patriarchal dominance.
Exactly, I was just going to say that.
Yes. So once there's a patriarchal dominance, it means the order of the house puts the man as the head of the
Captain
home,
of the ship.
no matter who is paying the bill.
But it's a very thin line.
Let me finish. I'm going somewhere. Because it's possible that the captain remains the captain with love and respect of the wife, and that the wife can respect the captain even when in a season, and it can be seasonal, when the woman is the one who has the dominant economic power. Now, it's really then about how you play the power. If you allow the structure of the home to remain, there's a way where you can be economically in charge of the home, but structurally, in terms of the power structure in the house, you allow the man his power base. And it requires a lot of wisdom.
I was just going to say that.
Yes, but you see, like I said, we're solving a problem after a problem. If we solve the first problem by teaching girls how to better have a sense of themselves before they choose the man that they marry, there's a likelihood that we would reduce the percentage of that situation that we create. Because you would know who you are, you would know where you're going, you would know the kind of ambition you have, and you would know the man who is comfortable. Like Lanre said, he's comfortable for his wife to be a high flyer. He was raised by a woman who nurtured him to celebrate a woman. Oh, I had a strong father, but my mother was economically active in her way. But has that changed the fact that I'm married to the most supportive husband I could ever ask for? No. But it also allows me to work with my husband as a team, to understand that the best of him is what he would give to his family, and the best of me is what I would give to my family. But when the chips are down, the head of my home is my husband. And you develop the wisdom along the way, but there is a need first to allow that partnership and the order, because the context has not changed. See, the argument we're having is within a context. The context of the society we live in today has not changed. There are more women economically active, but the environment has not changed enough that we will totally dump the fact that the man is the head of the house. So if you as a woman want to be married, be successful with your vision and your ambition, and still be able to economically empower your family where that is the situation, then you're going to have to learn how to live within that context in order for you to win on that front.
But what about a series of disappointments? What about every time that the man is supposed to pull his weight, he always falls short? What about the woman being a professional, has long working hours, still comes back home to ensure that the home front is being run properly, and the man doesn't feel that's his role to do? But when it comes to paying, Mr. Bill comes knocking, you put her in front of you. Because women, a lot of marriages have broken up because of financial stress.
I know. I understand what you're saying. See, I don't disagree with anything.
To be that submissive.
I'm not talking about being submissive
or
without
accommodating.
Yes. You remember what I said? If you choose, and it starts from choosing the right husband, but once you have chosen that husband and you decide you want your drive, you want your ambition, you want your vision, you're going to have to find how to. So it's not about, he's not pulling his weight. It's about, do we have resources? At this point, the resources are from me. You forget about whether I can pull his weight.
Won't that cause some form of resentment? Seeming resentment at some point.
I know. Remember what I said, context and choices. Once you choose that this is the context where we live, what is my reality? What do I want out of this situation? If I know what I want out of that situation, I make the decisions and the choices that help me to achieve what I want in the situation. If what I want, sometimes the man doesn't have the money, but he's a good man.
Absolutely.
That helps.
So it's really about you deciding, what do I want in this situation? This man is not getting in the way of my career. He's a loving father to his children, but he just doesn't have. He's giving the best that he has, but the best that he has is not enough. There was something Lanre said about friends and what other people see. Every marriage is different. One thing we need to learn is decide what you want out of yours. Work to make yours work for you. Economic environment, I still need to take care of. Luckily for us, we're in an environment where there's a lot of support system we can build. You build the structure that helps you to reduce those pressures whilst you make the choice to have the best of your career. And if your husband is supportive but is unable to economically deliver as much as he can, take what he gives in the best way that you can. Consider that the two is one.
Absolutely.
Because if we're comfortable to take when the man is the one that has the most, we must be comfortable to give
Absolutely.
when we have the most.
not as
But
easy.
we must
It's not
stop
as
looking
easy.
at it. See, it's because we're dealing with the dynamics of the
Yes,
societal
it's not as easy.
mindset
Yes.
that says to
We're
us,
used to.
the man must be the one that pays this bill. No,
Yeah.
You can
the
meet halfway.
family, the two is one. Bible is specific.
Yeah.
And God can choose to bless the household through either one. But it doesn't change the structure of the household. The captain of the ship.
I want
The
to
reason why
bring
you
in
said
Dr.
that-
Olusola for the next question. Does reverse dependency, women being breadwinners, also cause or call for reverse romance? So for instance, if the man had the money and he was the one buying the gifts, buying the new cars, what do you say about when the woman is now the breadwinner and the man is playing a slightly weaker role? Does the woman need to also initiate some of these romantic gestures?
You know, money is not the function and the be and do all.
Okay.
There is more to what our needs are than just money. So it's important that we don't put the cart before the horse. Money is important. There are many other things that are important. So when you talk about gifts, right, buying something is one way of showing you appreciate and you love someone.
Absolutely.
Quality time is another way.
Absolutely.
And there's some people that what they really need is quality
Attention.
time. There's some people that what they really need is, you know, words of affirmation. There's some people that what they really need is support and letting you be everything you want to be. So imagine a situation where a woman, what she really, really wants in her life is to succeed and to fulfill her dreams. And the man, right, now pays and he's the breadwinner and says, sit at home. She will never be fulfilled. So in that home, it's not about the money. And this is what Pastor Awosika is saying, right?
Yeah.
It is important for me and my wife, right, to sit down and understand ourselves. And understand that there are seasons in life. And understand that things change. And we have to change. We cannot remain the same when things are changing. We have to evolve. And so in that kind of a situation, right,
Yeah.
the woman now has to ask, what does the man need?
Right.
Now, all of these things that we're talking about stems on one major issue. Men, what they need is a sense of control. Direction and clarity. They want to be the ones. They need to be the ones that determine that for that system.
Okay.
Because they are created to protect, they are created to set direction, right? What women need is to be chosen as number one.
But many women have said that romance suffers at the point when they become the breadwinners, things get busier, the man is a
And
bit-
that's some
The
no
que-
romance without
The
finance.
question is, do we really even know what romance is?
And
Do we-
it's different for,
Yeah, it's
for
different
every
for
couple.
different
But
people.
let me say something. I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
just to jump in on Larry, sorry to
Yeah.
butt in. What a man requires the most is respect and honor. Respect and honor is not about money. Even more so when the man is in a low state. If he's disadvantaged financially, he would like to know that his wife still respects and honors him. And that's about how she handles him. Which means, okay, He doesn't have the money for the rent, but I do. Who still pays it? I shouldn't. So this is where wisdom comes in. It'd be nice when we're together in our room to work out how the rent goes to him, so that to the outside world, to the landlord and to anybody, he's the one paying the rent, because I maintain his place of honor and respect. If we're paying the children's school fees,
I was just going to stop.
there's a way where it's not the children are saying it's mommy that pays the school fees. No. If truly I recognize my husband as the head of the home, he can pay the school fees. I might be the provider, but that's between us. It's nobody's business. We can work. That's why the two is one. I keep going back to that. And there's a lot of wisdom. You need a lot of maturity and wisdom when you're in that sense. So, and the woman wants to be loved, which means even though the man doesn't have a lot of money to buy her gift and all of that, care and consideration and showing up for her and supporting that her hard work in any way that she can and giving her encouragement and all of that, that affirmation will help her through.
Ibukun,
the rest they can work out.
You make this thing sound so simple.
No, I didn't say they are.
It is far from easy.
Ruth, trust me.
You know?
I did not say they are, but I'm saying once you are in that situation,
logically, yes, that's
what you must decide is what you want.
But can I ask you something?
Ruth,
Wait, let me ask
what
you
you're
something.
saying in essence is there are some men that are irresponsible.
Yeah, because that's a different case.
To also becloud their vision.
So let's not deny.
There's jealousy, there's anger.
Yes.
Okay, let's use a scenario now where your husband comes. There are some men that just have these highfalutin ideas and never get into reality.
Yeah.
And you go to your wife, oh, borrow me 20 million, I want to do this project. It fails. Borrow me 10, it fails. Borrow me 20, it fails. Then he comes again the fourth or fifth time, and you refuse. It's a problem.
That's wisdom, though, because
No, so
You have to protect the family.
Okay, so
you don't want your children to suffer because of his experiments.
It comes the fifth time now and needs 50 million after you spent almost.
We're not talking about being foolish or making your family
So how do you tell the
vulnerable.
man? How do you now get that?
It's communication, and it's about the attitude of communication. It's not, and you know, it's also how the woman gets wise at handling her money.
Okay.
Because when you put money in a disposable form, other people can plan on it. When you put your money into education funds for your children, the money is there, but they're not available. They're not reachable. If you say, okay, as a family, let's buy land and all of that. We've bought land in both of our names. I've paid for it. Land is not money you can readily take and go and take for business. And if we have any account that is used for anything, but you're unable to sign there, if you want to make a decision that doesn't work, and I'm able to respectfully say, I'm sorry, but we cannot do this. Yeah. The children will suffer. There's a way that, you see, I said from the onset, you need a lot of wisdom and understanding once you found yourself in that situation. But there are also practical ways. Not everything you can say on TV. There are also practical ways that women can organize themselves in order to make sure that it works. But you must give your husband the respect of the head of the home, because that's still the context of the
I like that concept. I like that concept about the husband being the head of the home. But sometimes I think some of these positions need to be earned.
But you know,
from
Ruth,
the respectful husband or the respected husband to the dutiful wife.
You know what used to work with our parents? You know what used to work with our parents? Exactly what Pastor Blessing has said. You don't know who is making the money.
Okay, we are going on the break now.
We hand it over. Yes, we'll come
just
back
hold
to
that for a minute. We're going on a break. We'll see you soon. Right back on Perspective. We just had some serious argument here. I believe we must wear the same trousers this night. You know, you were saying that a lot of young girls today should look beyond just the financial advantages with the man. You should look beyond into the man's character, look beyond to see whether the man is as ambitious, what his vision is, and blah, blah, blah. And some people are young.
And if he has the capacity to accommodate your vision and your ambition. Because the problem,
you might not really know that.
Trust me, the nature of a person is revealed in many ways. If you're 25, the guy is 27, he's 28, and Every time you go out, he's asking, where are you? What did you do? Who did you talk to? Hey, you are discussing your vision, and you say, I would rather that my mother used to be at home when my daddy comes. I would rather that, you're there at this. You get a sense of where he wants to go. And listen, he's entitled to his own vision. But the question you should ask, you are entitled to your vision. Does your vision for your life and his, do they match? And does he have the nature to accommodate the vision of who you are? And do you have the capacity to accommodate the vision of who he is? If we don't learn how to solve that problem early, we always create this situation because it's the mismatch of the individuals in terms of who they are that results in this situation.
Okay, but you're
what we have.
Yes,
we marry for the wrong reason.
Yes, but listen, you guys also said during the break that marriage should not just be about financial empowerment.
No, it shouldn't.
There must be other traits and characteristic traits that the person has that would complement the union. Some men might not be that aggressive. They might not be that ambitious.
So it's up to the girl to decide.
But he has nice traits. He's caring, he's thoughtful, he has my back, he takes good care of the children, blah, blah, blah. But as I'm getting older and my bills are getting bigger, I'm becoming less tolerant.
I think Doctor wanted to come
of his inability to meet me halfway.
So how you choose and why you are marrying and who you are choosing to marry is very, very important. And this is the point that we're trying to make, right? We must begin to set the right examples. Society is warped because people are marrying wrongly. They're marrying for the wrong reasons, right? And people are marrying cars today.
Marrying what?
Cars.
I'll
give you an example.
If you're marrying a guy,
so you're marrying a guy because of the car he drives.
Let me give you a classic, right? You go to a party or a get-together, and then men are flaunting their car keys.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Are you serious?
Women are moved by that. Women are moved by what men wear. So you are not marrying the man. You are not seeing the man's character. You are
getting to know him.
Yes, you are seeing his car. You are seeing his house in Ikoyi. You don't even know what he does. And oh yeah, he's a fine boy. Oh. And then you say you fall in love with him. You didn't fall in love with the guy. You fell in love with what he has. So you are marrying possessions, not the man. So when problem comes in the future, the man doesn't have no more G-Wagon, no more house in Ikoyi. What will happen? There will be a problem.
You too, you become a possession now.
Yeah, because in fact, you are a possession.
Yes.
So you must marry right. And this is what we're saying. We must go back to the family unit because this is where the problem lies. We go back to the family unit and we must begin to teach women, young women and young men right. Because if you do not get it right, what will suffer? Society. This matter that we're talking about
now. There's a long way to go.
There's a long way to go.
It's a problem of a problem.
So we must go back to the basics. And what is the basics? Why are you married? Marriage doesn't define you. So don't marry because, oh yeah, time is going. Oh, don't marry because, you know what, my needs have to be met. So why do you want to marry? Why do you want to marry this man, this woman? Why do you want to marry now? Am I ready to marry? If I'm not, pause.
But do you think that a woman of 24, 25, marrying age between 24 and 28, a man who is not very comfortable, probably doesn't have a very good job, do you understand? And she's already comfortable. She's already working in a bank or something, courtesy of mommy, daddy, whatever. But he's on the other side of the fence. Would you encourage her to look at his potential? Because young girls don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
they want to marry men that live in their...
They're made.
In their environment.
That's why we're where we are. That's also end of story.
So it's coming back to this same issue, breadwinner. Because you have been programmed to believe that that is what the system should be. The man should be the sole provider.
Not even necessarily sole provider. Maybe
it must be successful. It must be. It's warped. In today's world, right? In today's world, the man and the woman makes it happen. And we must change our mindset. It's about us, not him, not her. And that whole construct of his money is our money. My money is my money, right? It's
Oh, people
outdated.
still practice that.
If we're going to change things, we have to change. We must become the change that we seek.
Any last
Absolutely.
words?
Look, it's just, honestly, the biggest thing is know who you are. Decide where you're going. When you have a sense of where you're going, be careful enough to consider who is the right fit that you can mutually respect and honor one another, and you can love each other and work together to make the most of one another. And in doing that, never forget that the two is one. It's not a grammatical error in the Bible. It just means whether one is stronger at one point and the other one is stronger at another point, as long as the two are working together, that family will always work. The strongest team you will ever find in the world is a husband and a wife team that is synced and working together.
Thank you so
You
much.
won't know what's happening behind, but they
Thank
work.
you so much.
Final words?
My final words are, let's go back to the basics, right? Men want control, they want respect, they want to be dignified, they want to be honored. Women want to be chosen, they want to be cared for, right? They want you to choose them beyond your mother, beyond your sister. They just want to be numero uno. If we get back to the basics, we will get it right.
And
I like
get ego out of the window.
Women
ego
and men
out
have
the
egos.
window.
Men have more. Let's not
It's natural to men, but a woman can manage it with respect.
yes. That's another topic I should bring up next week or another
Ends
time.
perspective.
Anyway, thank you so much, Lanre.
you.
Thank you so much, Ibukun,
Thank you.
for such a wonderful, interesting conversation that we had with you today.
Thank you.
Thank you for your views. Now, women's progress in the workplace and their economic contributions to the households should be applauded. At a time when more women are becoming family breadwinners, perhaps it is time for husbands to step up and take on more responsibilities on the home front. It's not about ousting anyone out of a role they feel otherwise entitled to or protecting bruised egos. The role of the husband, of a breadwinner wife, is to be a loving, supportive partner. Two heads have always been better than one. So, and that's all we have time for today. And as I say, life is a learning curve. Don't ever forget that. So you've been watching Perspectives here on Arise News with me, Ruth Osime. See you next week.
Thank you. Female breadwinning calls for equality in the pursuit of passion, happiness, and maximization of talent, while nullifying systemic gender-based career limitations. Anyone can be a breadwinner. This is not just a movement for women, it is a movement for humanity. It calls on each of us to be allies in the pursuit of a more just and equitable world, where the rights and opportunities of all individuals are valued and protected. The key to a better world today is pushing our individual and collective dreams as progressively, ethically, and as humanely as possible. Our world needs a much stronger dosage of healthy love, widespread happiness, and genuine compassion. My name is Majekodunmi-Oniru, and I love all things Greater Nigeria. Thank you for watching Perspectives. Have a very great weekend. See you all soon. Goodbye.